Get ready now. The starting lineup today for the Cincinnati Reds, leading off and playing third base, will be Pete Rose. Batting second, Ken Griffey, the right fielder. Joe Morgan will play second base and bat third. Hitting fourth, left fielder George Foster. Batting number 5, the catcher, Johnny Bench. Dave Concepcion will play shortstop. He'll bat sixth. Hitting seventh in center field, Ken Henderson. Batting number 8, at first base, Dan Driessen. And hitting ninth, the Cincinnati pitcher, left-hander Fred Norman. Again for the Reds, it's Rose at third base, Griffey in right field, and Morgan at second base. Foster in left. Bench catching, Concepcion at shortstop. With Henderson in center field, Driessen at first base, and Norman on the mound. For the Expos, second baseman Dave Cash will lead off. Andre Dawson, the center fielder, will hit number 2. Batting third, right fielder Ellis Valentine. Hitting fourth, at first base, Tony Perez. Larry Parrish will play third base, and he'll bat fifth. Hitting number 6, left fielder Warren Cromartie. Gary Carter will catch. He'll bat seventh. Chris Speier will bat number 8 and play shortstop. And hitting ninth and pitching for the Montreal Expos, left-hander Dan Schatzeder. Once more for Montreal today, it's Cash at second base, Dawson in center field, and Valentine in right field. Perez at first, Parrish at third, Cromartie in left field. With Carter catching, Speier at shortstop, and Schatzeder on the mound. Well, we've got a few minutes before the beginning of the second game of the series against Dick Williams Expos here at Olympic Stadium. A chance to talk with the Reds Vice President of Marketing, Roger Rule. And Roger, the Reds in the midst now of an 8-game road trip. Will be returning to Riverfront Stadium next Friday against the Philadelphia Phillies. What's coming up?
Well, Marty, we like to think the red-hot race in the National League West is coming up. You know, it's looking way ahead to September. We're going to be seeing all 5 Western Division opponents at Riverfront Stadium in the month of September, and that includes 2 weekend dates with the Giants, September 9th and 10th, and 3 weeknight games with the Dodgers coming up in late September. So that's the first-hand look at the race, and from all indications, we're going to go right into September with probably the best race we've seen in the National League West since the start of division play in 1969.
I'm sure our fans are already looking forward to the confrontations with the Giants and the Dodgers in September. You're in charge of special events for the ball club. What might we look forward to in terms of the special events coming up in the near future?
Well, when we come back, we'll have our last doubleheader of the season when we meet the Phillies next Friday night. That's a twilight doubleheader starting at 5:30. And we've got afternoon games with the Phils next Saturday and next Sunday. We go away to Atlanta for 3 nights, and then we come back to Riverfront, and we'll take on the Padres for 3 weekend ball games, and then the Braves for 3 weeknight games. And that Padres series features a couple special events. We've got Teen Night on Friday, August the 4th, and that's when the guys and gals through age 19 can purchase the $4 reserve seats for only $2. And then before the game on Sunday afternoon, August the 6th, we'll have the game between Reds players and their sons and daughters. And anybody who's ever seen one of those knows that's a lot of laughs with the little kids trying to swing the bat and run the bases like Dad. So we have a good time on that game. We've got a senior citizens date on Wednesday, August the 9th, and that's a special early starting time ball game, 5 o'clock at Riverfront. Then looking farther ahead into August, why, there's Shrine Night, and this year it's the 40th annual Shrine Night ball game. The usual amount of color, pageantry, and bands and so forth. So that'll be a big event on the 25th when we play the Cubs. And on Sunday afternoon, August the 27th, we've got the Cubs in an afternoon game, and a Reds Wives home run hitting contest will precede. A lot of special dates coming up.
Roger, we look forward to them. Thank you very much for filling us in.
Thank you, Marty.
And talking with the Reds Vice President of Marketing, Roger Rule. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Cincinnati Reds Incorporated and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Cincinnati Reds Incorporated is prohibited. The announcers on this broadcast are employed by the Cincinnati Reds Incorporated. Lineups being exchanged out at home plate right now. We've got a good day for baseball and a good crowd here at Olympic Stadium. And Joe, for a veteran left-hander, Freddie Norman, who has not tasted victory since the 18th of June, Freddie, we would certainly suspect to maybe come up with a good one here today and give us our second straight win.
Well, Marty, it seems like Freddie goes through this every year. Somewhere along the line, he just has all kind of problems, but yet his record is held up, I think you would have to say, and hopefully we can get Freddie back on the winning track. We've won 14 of his 21 starts, but Freddie, I'm sure, would like to have about 4 of those onto his record, but the idea of winning, of course, and that's the big thing with the ball club. But the young man pitching against us this afternoon, Dan Schatzeder, is primarily a breaking ball pitcher, left-hander, and you'll see a lot of sliders, curveballs from him. Not a whole lot of straight those fastballs. But, well, I just feel that we're going to have another big day, and Freddie's going to pitch as a good one for a change. But probably the one thing that's hurt Fred his last 3 times out has been the long ball. Keeping him in the ballpark has been Fred's problem, so we got a pretty good sized park here this afternoon, and maybe Freddie can keep him in and pick up his 9th win.
Well, the Expos are on the field, and we'll be back with the beginning of Game 2 of this series from Olympic Stadium in just a moment.
The Grange singers tell us to make friends with tomorrow. Tomorrow is sure to come, and it can bring either bad news or good news. Bad news first. Unless we protect ourselves, we can be victimized by stormy weather, business reverses, failing health, or just bum breaks. We all get them sooner or later. Now here's the good news. A friendly tomorrow can mean diplomas on the wall, wedding bells, and a jubilant retirement celebration with money in the bank. What's the difference? Your Grange insurance agent can be the difference. Grange wants to be your partner, wants to help you make friends with tomorrow. A friendly Grange agent can get the good news going. Consult the yellow pages for the name of your nearest Grange agent, your partner in protection.
Make friends with tomorrow. Grange Mutual to be sure.
Of course, the big story as we start play today is Pete Rose and his continuing quest to set a new National League record for the most consecutive games hit safely. And Pete had a base hit off Ross Grimsley on the first pitch of the game last night to extend his hitting streak to 34 consecutive games. That matches the 6th longest streak in Major League history since 1900 and the 2nd longest in the National League. Rose stands just 3 games away now from tying Tommy Holmes. And it was interesting. We had a call earlier today from Seymour Siwoff, who runs the Elias Sports Bureau, which compiles statistics for Major League Baseball. They've got all sorts of computers and whatnot to program their statistics into and get responses from. And he was telling me that if Pete gets a hit today, he stands a 62% chance of tying the record Monday night in New York and a 48% chance of breaking it. Now, if he gets a hit tomorrow, he stands a 78% chance of tying it and 62% chance of breaking it. And going a little bit further than that, he said the way Pete has been swinging the bat during this string, on any given day, he stands an 80% chance of getting a base hit. They figure he goes to the plate 4.2 times a game, and the way he's been hitting during this string, they say an 80% chance on any given day of Pete Rose coming up with a base hit. Of course, that does not take into account the human element, and this man is involved with a whole bunch of human elements in Pete Rose, and well, he is, I think, a little bit pumped up, and a lot of eyes are focused on him right here today. And, boy, if he can do it today and tomorrow, even more will converge on him in New York Shea Stadium Monday night. Here's Rose, and here's Schatzeder, and the first pitch is in for a taken strike, and this game is underway. Pete's batting .305. He's homered 4 times and has 28 runs batted in. The strike one pitch from the left-hander is just inside and low as the count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. Larry Parrish playing a step inside the bag at third base. Outfield bunching the power alleys on him. The 1-1 delivery, that's taken low and inside, and Pete is out in front at 2 balls and 1 strike. Schatzeder, 23 years old. He's from Elmhurst, Illinois. 6 feet tall, 190-pounder, and since going into the Montreal rotation, he has done a fine job, as his record and earned run average would indicate. He sends a pitch in, and Pete swings and loops it foul off first base and back into the stands. So a 2-ball, 2-strike count with Griffey on deck and Joe Morgan to follow. Dan was up briefly last year, appeared in 6 games, started 3 with a 2-1 record and a 2.49 ERA. This is 2-2 to Rose, and that swung on and hammered to right field. And slicing away from Valentine and going foul down into the corner on a holding 2-ball, 2-strike count. Defensively for Montreal, Tony Perez at first, Davey Cash at second, Chris Speier at short, and Larry Parrish at third. Their outfield has Cromartie, Dawson, and Valentine from left to right. And behind the plate and catching, Gary Carter. Schatzeder looks to his battery mate for the sign. He kicks and he fires, and Pete swings and hits one into right center. Dawson drifting back, and he'll make the catch. 1 out. That brings up Ken Griffey. The Reds winning at 10-3 last night, while out at Candlestick, the Pirates were shutting out the Giants 3-0. So the Reds knock a game off that San Francisco lead. We're only a game and a half back now. The Dodgers 7-5 win over the St. Louis Cardinals. They're 2 back. San Francisco plays this afternoon. The Dodgers play tonight. Griffey waiting on the pitch and shortens up as if the bunt, takes ball 1. Kenny batting .295. Swung on. That one wrapped foul back onto the screen behind the plate. The Reds have won 2 of the first 3 games on this 8-game road trip, defeating Philadelphia 7-2 on Wednesday night and losing 8-6 to the Phillies Thursday. High and inside, an off-speed pitch, 2-1 to count. Then coming up with a win here last night. Schatzeder we have seen but one time this season. That was in a relief stint. The Reds had neither a hit nor a run against him. Ball 3, 3 balls and 1 strike. This is 5th start of the year after 11 relief appearances. He last started on the 16th of this month, pitching his first complete game win. Griffey swings, and here's a foul ball that climbs off the third baseline and well back into the seat. So a full count on Ken Griffey. In his last 6 appearances, covering 31 2/3 innings, Schatzeder has allowed 7 earned runs on 25 hits, and that figures out to a 1.99 earned run average. He's coming with a payoff pitch to Ken Griffey, and a bat handle foul again off to the left. Doug Harvey, our plate umpire this afternoon. At first base, Andy Olson, Jim Quick at second, and Jerry Crawford at third. Rose is fly to center to start the game. And the string is out on Griffey with a count of 3-2. Here's the pitch. And that's high, ball 4. So Kenny becomes a first base runner as Schatzeder pounds his fist into his glove over his inability to get that pitch over. Here's Joe Morgan. Morgan hitting .261 with 58 RBIs. He knocked in 2 runs last night in that 6-run 6th inning. He batted twice in the 6th inning, had a bunt single his first time up, and then had a line drive single past first baseman Del Unser to drive in 2. Griffey takes his lead as a left-hander throws that way, and Kenny steps back. Morgan has driven in a bunch of runs against Montreal this season, 12 RBIs versus his team. Pitch to the plate, breaking ball in for a call strike. George Foster now moving out of the third base dugout and into the on-deck circle. Strike 1 on Morgan, and another throw to first base as Griffey quickly moving back into the bag. Win last night by Cincinnati was the 6th time they have beaten Montreal in 10 tries this season. Another throw to first. A victory today or tomorrow, hopefully both, and the Reds will have taken the seasonal series from a team that they have never lost one to since Montreal's beginning. Strike 1 pitch to Morgan, low and inside, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Schatzeder not a quick worker by any means. He's working very deliberately right now after walking Griffey. Stops, looks to first base, a 1-1 to Morgan, and that's at the knees. Strike 2 call. In case you missed the late scores last night, as we mentioned, Dodgers 7, Cardinals 5. Pittsburgh shutting out the Giants behind Jim Bibby 3-0. Chicago defeated San Diego 5-4. New York 12, Atlanta 3. Philadelphia beat Houston twice, 6-1 and 8-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. In the American League, California and Detroit divided a doubleheader. California won the first game 4-2 and 11. The Tigers, behind Jack Billingham, who ran his record to 9-5, won the second game 5-0. Oakland 7, Toronto 2 in game 1. Toronto 5-4, a winner in the second game. 2-2 pitch coming to the plate. Morgan takes ball 3, so Schatzeder, I think, a little bit upset on that particular pitch over the fact that Harvey didn't give him the strike. So he's gone full on Morgan as he did on Griffey. Cleveland 11-0 win over Seattle behind Mike Paxton. New York beat Chicago 7-4. In 10, Baltimore beat Minnesota 5-4. Kansas City wailed away on Boston 9-0, and Milwaukee got by Texas 4-3. Throw to first base. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Morgan with 1 gone. We're in the top of the first inning from Olympique Stadium in Montreal. Boy, Joe hits one over third. He can run all day long. The outfield really pulled around toward right. Now a quick throw to first, and Griffey dives back in with a right hand. Schatzeder stepped off the rubber and fired to Perez. Obviously, the Montreal pitcher feels like Griffey's going to be running on this pitch. You would have to like those chances. Morgan waiting very patiently. Here comes a payoff. Griffey goes. That's ball 4, and the Reds have been the recipients of 1-out back-to-back walks as Foster moves to the plate. We'll pause for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
This is the voice of the Cincinnati Reds for Central Ohio. Zebra 100, WRMZ, Columbus, Ohio.
George Foster kept his hitting streak alive last night. He's now hit safely in 7 straight games, but it broke his RBI string. He did not get a run batted in after having knocked him in 6 straight. Nevertheless, continues to lead the National League with 79 RBIs, and once again is tied with Greg Luzinski for home runs with 23. 2 men on with 1 man out. Schatzeder to the plate. Foster takes the breaking ball that momentarily handcuffs Gary Carter, but not getting away far enough to allow anybody to advance. And now Jim Brewer, the Montreal pitching coach, running out to the mound because Dan Schatzeder having trouble throwing strikes, and that breaking ball seems to be the thing that's betraying him right now.
Well, Marty, I think maybe, too, he's trying to overthrow the baseball a little bit, and particularly his breaking ball, trying to make it break too sharply instead of going on with his normal delivery. And I would think that Brewer just mentioned the fact to slow his delivery down a little bit and throw the baseball.
Well, the meeting breaking up, and Foster 1 ball and no strikes out in front with Griffey at second base and Joe Morgan on at first. George has homered 3 times against the Expos this season, and of course hit 2 of them last Monday night off Ross Grimsley when the 2 teams met at Riverfront Stadium. Here's a pitch. Foster takes it over the plate, but below the knees. Ball 2. Interesting comments from Sparky Anderson in the main Spark show today concerning Foster being hit last night. He said that, well, pretty much the fact that the party is over, that anybody who hits this man from now on is going to pay for it, that he has had it in terms of pitchers hitting Foster this season. Swung on and a foul down the right side and out of play. Certainly indicated that Ross Grimsley was in deep trouble last night, only for the fact that the situation did not crop up. When he came up for the second time, he was up with men on base. Or the first time, the second time he came up, it was a 1-1 ball game, and Ross bunted the first pitch Lacoste through and was out. 2 balls and 1 strike. Schatzeder checks the runners, pitches. Foster takes, and he's a pitch away from getting a walk. 3-1. The Reds trying to take advantage in the first inning of inconsistent control on the part of the young left-hander Dan Schatzeder. He lost Griffey with a 3-2 pitch, did the same with Morgan, and is one pitch out of the strike zone now away from loading him up for Johnny Bench. He pitches, and Foster hits a hard ground ball to shortstop. Speier, Cash, Perez, double play, and that's the inning. That one tailor-made, and the Expos turn it. So Schatzeder gets off the hook. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a man left on base, and after a half inning of play, the Reds nothing, and the Expos are coming to bat.
Here's something to think about. Your Grange agent can get lots of things going for you. He or she will help you make friends with tomorrow. How? By looking ahead, 10 years ahead, 20 years ahead, to the time when you want to get off the treadmill, slow down a little. By the judicious use of Grange Life Insurance, you can look to those sunset years with anticipation rather than anguish. The Grange Lifeline includes individual retirement accounts, which can make you $250,000 if you start early enough. A 25-year-old who invests $1,500 a year will retire at 65 with more than $260,000. So make friends with tomorrow through a Grange agent today. You'll find your partner in protection in the yellow pages under Grange Insurance.
Make friends with tomorrow. Grange Mutual want to be sure.
Well, the lineup will sound familiar. Rose, Griffey, Concepcion, Sieber, and the rest. But it'll be a different Reds team on the field Sunday, August 6th. We're talking about the upcoming game between Cincinnati Reds players and their sons and daughters. All the Reds youngsters will be introduced on the field. Then the boys and girls will play their dads in a game that's sure to provide a lot of laughs for everybody. Be on hand as the Reds meet the Padres Sunday, August 6th at 2:15, with a game between Reds players and their kids getting underway about 1:45. Bottom of the first inning, where Freddie Norman will be dealing with the likes of Davy Cash, Andre Dawson, and Ellis Valentine. Fred 8-5 in 21 starts, no complete games, and a .343 earned run average. Joe mentioned earlier he has not won a game since the 18th of June when he worked 5 innings, giving up 8 hits and 2 runs en route to a 4-2 win over the St. Louis Cardinals. At that time, it was his 8th win against 3 defeats. And even though Norman has not won a game in over a month, he has only lost twice, once to the Dodgers and once to Houston. The last 2 times out, against the Mets and Montreal, Freddie has been giving up a bunch of home runs. New York got 3 off of him 8 days ago, and then he was touched for 2 home runs by the Montreal Expos in his last start at Riverfront, when he was able to go but a third of an inning, giving up 5 hits and 3 runs on the homers by Ellis Valentine and Tony Perez. Well, a man who has an 8-win, 4-loss career record against Montreal, hoping to finally get the brass ring in terms of win number 9 this afternoon. Davy Cash hitting .267. 12 for 42 against Cincinnati pitching. Dave has hit 2 homers and has driven in 21 runs this season. Right-handed batting Cash, waiting, and the first pitch to him is a fastball for a call, strike 1. Loss for Montreal last night was their 50th of the year in 97 games. They trail Philadelphia by 7.5. Here's a bouncer to third. That's a foul ball. Phillies, of course, beating Houston twice last night. The Cubs winning in San Diego, so Chicago remains 4 back. Pittsburgh 4.5 back, and Montreal now 7.5 games out of first place. New York in 5th place, 13 out, and the Cardinals in the basement with a record of 38-59, and they are 16.5 games behind division-leading Philadelphia. Cash down 2 strikes to the left-hander Norman as Freddie kicks and throws a high fastball, 1-2. In the Western Division, the Giants lead the Reds by 1.5 by 2 over Los Angeles. San Diego in 3rd and 4th place, 11.5 games out. Here's a grounder by the mound off to Concepcion's left. Davy with a quick throw to first. He gets Davy Cash, 1 away. Here's Andre Dawson. Atlanta playing much better baseball lately. They're 10 under 500. 14 away from the Giants, and Houston really having its problems. They've lost back-to-back doubleheaders in the last 2 days, and they're 15.5 games away from the San Francisco club. Well, that's how the divisions in the Western Division look as the clubs begin play today. Dawson takes it high, a ball. With 15 homers this season, 3 against our club, batting .255 and has knocked in 47. Swung on and fouled off first. 1 ball, 1 strike. A lot of action this afternoon in the American League. California and Detroit, John Cañera going for the Angels. Morris on the mound for the Tigers. Seattle and Cleveland, Mitchell against Clyde. Baltimore and Minnesota being held up because of rain. Bluff bunt by Dawson, and that's a ball, 2-1. Boston playing at Kansas City, Tion against Bird. Tonight, Oakland at Toronto, New York at Chicago, and Milwaukee at Texas. Only other day game in the National League will have the Pirates at San Francisco. Don Robinson scheduled to pitch against John Montefusco. Well, Freddie started into the windup. Apparently got his spikes caught in the dirt on the left side of the pitching rubber where he works from, and he'll start all over again. He delivers to Dawson, and Andre fouls it back. 2-2. We're in the bottom of the first inning with no score in the game. The Reds got a couple on with 1 out in their half of the inning on walks to Griffey and Morgan, but Foster hit a 3-1 pitch on the ground to Chris Speier, and he started an inning-ending 6-4-3 double play. Now the 2-2 pitch. That's high, ball 3, full count. Ellis Valentine, he'll be up next. Dawson grounds to third. Rose backs up, plays it, and his throw. Big stretch by Driessen to get Dawson. 2 out. Here's a guy in Ellis Valentine that Freddie has had quite a bit of problems with this season. Valentine has homered off of Norman twice. Then again, there are a lot of pitchers around this league that have a problem getting this guy out. 304 is average, 17 home runs, and a club-leading 56 RBIs. 2 away in the bottom of the first inning. Norman back behind the mound, rubbing up the baseball. Infield of Driessen, Morgan, Concepcion, and Rose will pretty much play Valentine straight away. Foster, Henderson, and Griffey in the outfield likewise. Johnny Bench in the crouch behind the plate hangs a sign, and Norman pitches. Valentine takes the off-speed pitch high for ball 1. Swung on and hit down the left field line. That's going to be a foul ball. Valentine hitting it well down the left side, but that'll be a foul strike and a 1 ball, 1 strike count on the Montreal right fielder. Tom Seaver going against Steve Rogers in an outstanding pitching matchup to round out the series and regular season play between the two clubs tomorrow. They'll be going on to New York where Tommy Hume, Paul Moscow, Moscow, Hume, and Lacoste will face the Mets. Here's a ground ball off to the left of Davey, who just got his glove on the ball as it caroms off the leather and goes on out to Kenny Anderson in center field. So Ellis Valentine with a 2-out single, extending the first for Montreal first baseman Tony Perez. Tony was forced to leave the game last night after diving for a ball off the bat of Dave Concepcion that got into right field in the second for a run-scoring single. Tony jammed his left thumb, but right back in there this afternoon and batting .290. So Valentine at first, 2 men out. Perez takes it low, ball 1. Talking with Tony before the game today about the shape that he's in physically. Now Doug Harvey calling for the baseball to take a look at it from Norman. Said he got to spring training weighing about 218 pounds, and during the physicals down in Daytona Beach, they detected he had a high cholesterol count. Put him on a bit of a diet, and he says as of today he weighs 201 pounds, which is the lowest he has weighed in quite a number of years. Valentine at first, and the 1-0 to the plate. Perez got around on the up and in fastball, 1-1. Tony with 9 home runs and 52 RBIs. He hits one off the end of the bat, a foul ball. Well, Norman getting out in front, ball 1 and strike 2, as Perez looks down to third base coach Norm Sherry. Doug Harvey circles around in front of Johnny Bench to quickly dust off the plate. Norman with a long look in, now the motion. He delivers. Perez takes it low. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cash grounded to short. Dawson bounced to third. Valentine singled. Perez holds up on his swing, and that pitch is low. Ball 3. So Danny Driessen will now leave the bag. He'll drop back to play behind the runner. The 2 down, the runner will be on the move. A 3-2 count on Tony Perez with Larry Parrish due up next. Perez squeezing that bat handle as a payoff pitch comes high and inside, and that's a walk. So Montreal has a couple of men on with 2 down, and the batter will be third baseman Larry Parrish. Parrish hitting .271, 10 home runs, and 44 runs batted in. If you're a fan of daytime baseball, we'll remind you that afternoon games are coming up at Riverfront next Saturday and Sunday with the Phillies, and then there's the early evening game at 5 o'clock with the Braves on Wednesday, August 9th. Be on hand. Montreal had only 7 hits last night off Mike Lacoste and Pedro Bourbon, but Larry Parrish had 2 of them, a single and a double. He swings on the first pitch and pops it up behind the plate. Johnny Bench has a play, and he makes it to end the inning. The Expo numbers in their first shot at Norman, no runs, 1 hit and 2 left. And at the end of 1 complete, the Reds nothing and Montreal nothing.
You know, different folks have different ways to spend their time, enjoy their days. Me, I like to fish, I really do. Well, there's something good about a lazy creek. Helps me relax from a long, hard week, like my Red Fox chewing tobacco, the relaxin' chew. Well, it's soft and moist and mild for sure. The flavor's fresh, the taste is pure. Red Fox is best, I like it, yes I do. So I keep me an extra pouch of Red Fox by my side in my tackle box. When it comes to tobacco, those Red Fox folks come through. Why don't you try Red Fox? Look for it in the white pouch with a picture of Old Red taking it easy. Red Fox chewing tobacco. Now it's better than ever. So if you like to relax, and I'll bet you do, settle down with a Red Fox chew, 'cause mister, taking it easy never tasted so good. Red Fox.
Lefty Dan Schatzeder got help with his control problems in the first inning by throwing a double play ball to George Foster. And Freddie Norman popping up Larry Parrish to leave two stranded in the bottom of the inning. So we're scoreless at the end of one, and it'll be Johnny Bench, Dave Concepcion, Kenny Henderson, and we hope more here in the top of the second. At Kansas City, Boston has jumped out in front 4-0 at the end of an inning and a half. Freddie Lynn has hit his 17th home run with 2 on in the first inning, and Dwight Evans has also hit a home run. So the Red Sox are smoking early today at Royal Stadium after being shut out 9-0 last night. Bench batting .258. John has been hitting .483 since the All-Star break with 14 hits and 29 trips. And has been on base 7 other times with walks. He takes the first pitch, a fastball high. That's inside. 2 balls, no strikes to Johnny Bench. We were looking at the weekly Major League statistics, averages, and whatnot in the Montreal newspaper this morning. Bench takes a strike. And through games of Thursday night, Reds were now as a team third in the league in hitting behind Philadelphia and San Francisco. Here's a swing and a fly ball pulled foul to left field. And Schatzeder even against Bench at 2-2. Reds as a team batting .263 after last night's game. That team batting average has been climbing almost day by day the way this club has been hitting of late. There's a pitch just off the plate and low, and boy, Dan Schatzeder making it a regular habit of going full on almost every batter he faces. He's ready with a 3-2 to Bench, and John fouls this one back. Three balls, 2 strikes. Bench leading off the second in a scoreless game. Schatzeder waiting for Johnny to get back in there. And again, the payoff pitch. That is swung on, knocked down by the pitcher, or did he catch the ball? He caught it. That ball turned Schatzeder completely around. A line drive that looked to be hit off the end of the bat. That turned him completely around towards center field, but he hung onto the baseball, and now Gary Carter is out to make sure he's all right.
Better way to explain that is self-defense.
Amen.
Ball right at his belt, Marty, and he was really trying to protect himself from him. Hitting his glove, stuck there. He had to look around a minute, make sure where the ball.
So Bench winds out to the mound on a 3-2 pitch, and here is Dave Concepcion, the Cincinnati shortstop. Davey's also been swinging the bat much better. He had 2 hits and an RBI last night. He takes a strike at the knees, batting .298. Just inside, and the count evens at a 1 ball, 1 strike. Maybe digging back in, and the left-hander kicks and throws. Swung on, foul ball, right side. That's into the seats. Ball and 2 strikes. Ken Henderson on deck with 1 down in the second. Line drive, base hit into center field for Dave Concepcion. First Cincinnati hit. And that extends Davey's hitting streak to 8 straight games. Here's a guy who's really made a difference of late. The Reds have won 8 of their last 11, and Kenny Henderson has played more than a small role in the recent success. Batting .262. Had a big home run in the opening game of this road trip at Philadelphia to beat Steve Carlton on Wednesday night. Knocked in a run with a 2-base hit last night. Strike to him. He's Cesar Geronimo continuing to be bothered by a muscle pull in his side, but I'll tell you, the way Henderson has been swinging the bat, Reds have, to be honest about it, really not missed Geronimo at all. Throw to first. Davey bouncing off the bag against a holding Perez, checked by Schatzeder, and the pitch to the plate. Inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Infield looking for the ground ball for Montreal. Henderson takes it high, ball 2, 2-1. A lot of people got a little bit disenchanted last night with manager Dick Williams because he left Jerry Pirtle in so long in the 6th inning after he relieved Grimsley, but Williams pointed out after the game he has 3 tired arms on his pitching staff, and it was simply a matter of nowhere else to go. Another throw to first base. Time call now, and apparently Henderson had stepped out of the box because his Schatzeder threw to first. Both plate umpire Harvey and first base ump Olson threw up their hands to signal timeout. 1 on, 1 out. Henderson swings and wraps it foul past third. 2-2. Hey, if you caught the interview with Mike Lacoste last night, I'll tell you, this is a guy that's going to provide, in addition to being a pretty good pitcher, a whole lot of entertainment around the clubhouse with some of his comments throughout the course of the rest of the season. There is strike 3 call. Got him with a slow curveball. Henderson caught looking. The first strikeout for Schatzeder, and the 2-out batter will be first baseman Danny Driessen. Lacoste told me in the clubhouse last night, imagine the nerve of that guy, referring to Ross Grimsley, hitting my idol in the head with a pitch. He was serious. He was not making the comment to evoke any kind of comical response. He's something else. Throw to first. Danny Driessen coming out of his slump in a big way last night with 3 base hits. He had 2 singles and his 11th home run of the year to knock in 3 runs. Another throw, and they pick Davey off of first base. Schatzeder and Tony Perez combining to pick Concepcion off of first, and that's all for Cincinnati. No runs, 1 hit. In the middle of the second, Reds nothing, Expos nothing.
Have you always waited for the day that you could cool it? Doesn't it seem like all of your friends are cooling it? Have you promised yourself that this is the summer you...
Series with the Phillies. There's a twilight doubleheader next Friday, and then afternoon ball games next Saturday and Sunday. Then, after a short 3-game road trip to Atlanta, the Reds come back to Riverfront for a weekend series against the Padres, followed by 3 weeknight games with the Braves. Check out the schedule and make plans to be on hand, and be sure to purchase your tickets in advance. Left-handed batting left fielder Cromartie for openers in the home second inning. Warren at .274 average, 5 homers and 33 RBIs, to be followed by catcher Carter and shortstop Speier. Norman running into a little 2-out difficulty in the first inning when Valentine singled and Perez walked, but he popped Parrish up. And he starts Cromartie off with a pitch over for a call strike 1. And a 1 at Detroit. Tigers lead California 3-0. Kemp has hit a 3-run home run in the first inning for Detroit, his 8th of the year. 1 ball and 1 strike. At the end of 2 at Cleveland, Indians with David Clyde lead Paul Mitchell and the Seattle Mariners 2-0. Rick Manning has homered, his 3rd of the year for the Indians. Swung on and hit into center field. Henderson over to his right, pounds a glove and makes the catch. Mentioned that Boston-Kansas City score 4-0 at the end of an inning and a half. Doug Bird started for the Royals. He was relieved by left-hander Larry Gura in the second. Baltimore, Minnesota still being held up because of rain. One down on Cromartie's fly ball to center, and Gary Carter steps in. .235 batting average for the Expos catcher. Ball one. Norman back to the plate. Carter takes it high. 2 balls, no strikes. Oh, with Seaver going tomorrow, and then Moscow, Hume, and Lacoste slated to go against the New York Mets Monday, Tuesday night, and Wednesday afternoon. Seaver will be one of the 2 starting pitchers, along with Freddie Norman, in the twin bill against Philadelphia next Friday at Riverfront. Strike is called. 2 balls and 1 strike. Reds will be off Thursday before the Phillies come to town. 5:30 doubleheader on Friday, 2:15 game Saturday, and 2:15 game on Sunday. Norman double pumps and pitches. Swung on, fly ball hit to left. Foster toward the line, makes the catch. 2 down. Here's Chris Speier. I'd like to send along our best today to Reds fans listening on WHOK in Lancaster, Ohio, on WLBC in Muncie, Indiana, on WREM in Jenkins, Kentucky, and WOMP in Wheeling, West Virginia, and Bel Air, Ohio. Middle game of the 3-game series against the Expos, and road game number 46 on the year. The Reds have won 24 and lost 21. Riverfront, they've posted a record of 31 and 19. Speier from Norman, ball one. Chris had a big game 2 nights ago against Atlanta, hitting for the cycle. Strike to him, 1-1. Last night had a single, but was on 3 times with a couple of walks in addition to the base hit. Pitch is low, 2-1. No score here in the bottom of the second. Pitcher Schatzeder in the on-deck circle for the Expos as Norman works and misses with that pitch. Ball 3. Freddie needs a strike against Chris Speier. Swung on, grounded to third. Rose behind the bag. Makes a throw in time, and that ends the inning. Nothing across for Montreal. 3 up and 3 down at the end of 2. The Reds nothing and the Expos nothing.
Time is right, that feeling coming through. Real love is so. Only one beer will do. For the real deal lovers, take back no other soul. For the real deal lovers, everyone knows it's the real lovers beer. Family fruit for over 200 years. Real deal lovers say they go out of their way for the soul. Oh yeah, yeah. So for the real deal lovers, Michigan.
Danny Driessen was at the plate when Dan Schatzeder picked off Dave Concepcion for the final out in the second, so Danny will lead it off here in the third, and to call the play-by-play for you, Joe Nuxall.
Thank you, Marty. Driessen, Norman, and Rose in the third inning with this no score in the game. Danny hitting .290 with 11 home runs, 53 RBIs, 18 doubles, and 2 triples. Schatzeder has allowed the Reds 1 hit. That Dave Concepcion single in the second inning has struck out 1 and walked 2. After he retired Rose in the first inning, walked Griffey and Morgan back-to-back before Foster bounced into a 6-4-3 double play. One strikeout. Ken Henderson for the final out of the second inning, a called third strike. Danny Driessen steps in. Dan with a big night last night. He had 3 hits, hit his 11th home run of the year, drove in 3 runs. Schatzeder delivers, and Driessen takes low ball. Parrish in shallow at third. The outfield pull around to the right. Schatzeder delivers. Outside corner, a called strike, 1-1. Talking to Dan on the pregame show about his problems, and hopefully he feels he has them ironed out. The pitch, up high. 2 balls to strike. Dan does. When he's hitting good, he can hit a ball a long ways to the opposite field. All right, the 2-1. Down low, make it at the knees, and a call strike, and Driessen not happy with Doug Harvey's call on that pitch. Not even 2-2. Freddie Norman on deck. The pitch. Swung on, and he got him with a off-speed breaking ball. Strikeout number 2 for Schatzeder, and Freddie Norman steps in. Fred hitting 179. He's driven in 3 runs. He's had 7 hits and 39 times up. Seaver and Rogers tomorrow afternoon as the Reds and the Expos wind up season's play, regular season's play. Schatzeder delivers to Norman, a fastball for a called strike. Outfield playing Freddie straight away. He Rose on deck, and the 0-1. The bunt attempt fouled, and the count goes 0-2 to Fred Norman. That setter has the sign and the 0-2. That's just high, a fastball. 1-2 to Freddie. Here's the 1-2. Norman swings, doesn't get it. Fastball, and that's strikeout number 3 for Dan Schatzeder. 2 away, and here's Pete. He hit the ball good to right center field in the first inning. A ball Dawson caught easily. Pete, a .305 batting average, 4 home runs, 28 RBIs, 27 doubles, 3 triples, and Pete with 121 hits on the year. He's with 34 straight. Looking for 35, and Schatzeder delivers, and Rose takes a breaking ball for a called strike. The 0-1 inside. 1-1 the count. Wind the pitch. Swung on and hit the right field. Coming on Valentine. He'll make the play. A low liner to right, and Valentine makes the play easily to retire the side. The Reds out in order for the first time in the game, and the middle of the third. Cincinnati nothing, Montreal nothing.
There's a big M sign round the corner, down the road and up the street. And there's a friend of mine round that corner, someone you all know and someone you'll be glad to meet.
Somewhere near where you live, there's a big M sign that tells you this is someplace different. This is the working home of your marathon man. What that means to you is there's somebody there who still thinks wiping your windshield, checking the air in your tires, and the water in your batteries a part of what you're supposed to get when you come into his station. That big M sign is a sign there's still a place to take your car and have it taken care of the way it's supposed to be. And that big M sign means there's a man worth knowing working under it.
Don't get together with a friend who'll do it better. Go
ride together and do it better.
For the Expos in the bottom of the third, it'll be Schatzeder, Cash, and Dawson. No score. The Expos with one hit off Freddie Norman. That's Ellis Valentine single to center field in the first inning. Freddie has walked one, has not struck out anybody. Schatzeder hitting .286. He's had 4 hits and 14 times up with a double and then a RBI. Well, over 100 Red Rooters with us this afternoon, sitting down the third base line. Well, good one last night. Hope we can do as well this afternoon. Right now, no scores. The Expos bat in the bottom of the third. Schatzeder, a left-handed batter, throws in shallow at third. The outfield around to the left as Norman delivers, and Schatzeder takes it high ball. Freddie looking for his 9th win of the year in his 22nd start. The 1-0 delivery. That's inside corner, called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to Schatzeder. Norman has the sign from bench and his 1-1 delivery. Breaking pitch swung on, and a leaping grab by Freddie Norman. Throws to Driessen, and there's that nonchalant throw again, and I tell you, Freddie scares you to death every time. Driessen not to the bag, still on the move, and Freddie flips it over there. Dan had to stop and wait on the ball and then go to the bag. With 1 away, Dave Cash the batter. Cash led off the game for the Expos, grounding to Concepcion at a shortstop. Dave's batting average at .267, a couple of home runs, 21 RBIs. Andre Dawson on deck. Norman delivers, Cash swings and fouls to the screen. Sun now out very bright here, and Sunfield at the stadium and right field missing outside with a fastball of Norman. Count evens 1-1. Freddie back to the plate. Cash takes it low. 2 balls is strike. Last night's crowd, 25,825, and near that this afternoon. Cash looks at ball 3 outside. 3-1 now to Dave Cash. He checks with Norm Sherry, the first base coach of the Expos. Norman down behind the mound, now back on. 3-1 to Cash. Freddie delivers, and Cash takes ball 4 high and outside. That's the second walk issued by Norman. 1 down, Cash at first base. Andre Dawson the batter. Dawson grounded to Rose at third in the first inning. Bench out to the mound to have a word with Norman. Dawson with 15 home runs, 47 RBIs, 9 doubles, 4 triples, and a .255 batting average. Bench now back behind the plate. Ellis Valentine, the on-deck batter. Third inning, no score, 1 out with Cash at first, and Dawson at the plate. Norman, the stretch and the pitch. Dawson takes high a ball. Norman to the belt and delivers high and inside with a slider. 2 balls, no strike. Dawson away from the plate, now steps back in. Norman ready, goes over to first, and Cash back, hands first. 2-0 the count to Andre Dawson. Norman sets and delivers. Dawson takes it. Ball 3. Missing outside, and the count 3 balls, no strikes to Andre Dawson. Dawson looking to Norm Sherry at third base again for a sign. Ready, the 3-0. He has the green light and lines it foul down the left field line. Down 3-1 now. Norman sets and delivers. Bunt attempt is fouled back as Rose is very deep. Full count now to Dawson. Pete very deep at third, and Andre getting the ball down if he would have. It's been easily a base hit. Oh, with the count 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out, we'll see what Dave Cash will be doing at first base. Waiting on the sign from bench. Norman the stretch. He looks over at Cash and delivers. Cash goes. The pitch is swung on and popped up in front of the plate. Rose coming on. Driessen. Danny called. Now Morgan moves in and he makes the play. That's to the right of the mound. Bench going out. Rose coming over. Driessen coming over. And Morgan splits him and makes the play for out number 2. 2 away, and Ellis Valentine, the batter. Ready coming back from a 3-0 count to retire Dawson. Big out. Valentine a single to center field in the first inning. Ellis hitting .304 with 17 home runs and 56 RBI. Norman has the sign and delivers. Valentine takes it high a ball. Stretch, the pitch. Swung on, that hit by Concepcion in the left field, a base hit. Well, Freddie with all kind of problems with Ellis Valentine, and they continue as Valentine got his second hit of the ball game and the second of the game for the Expos. That'll bring Tony Perez to the plate. Tony walked in the first inning. Cash at second base, Valentine at first, 2 away. Tony with 52 RBIs, 8 home runs, and a .290 batting average. Norman sets and delivers. Perez takes high a ball as bench bluffs the throw. One ball, no strikes. Cash at second leads. Valentine at first. Norman delivers and Perez takes it high and inside. A slider, 2 balls, no strikes. Larry Parrish on deck with 2 out. Norman the stretch. And the 2-0. Tony swings on it, pops it into center field, drifting back Henderson. Kenny waiting on it now, and he has it. That's it. In the inning for the Expos, no runs, a hit, no errors, 2 runners left on base, and at the end of 3, Cincinnati nothing, Montreal nothing.
Imagine this. You're standing in front of a house built from only new sash windows and 1 new sash door. Now let's go inside and experience new sash quiet. The new sash quiet came from the perfect custom fit and the exclusive thermal pane with its half-inch dead air space. Reducing outside noise is only part of the new sash story, eliminating the draft, the freezing winter wind, or the boiling summer air. The outside stays out because of the perfect new sash fit. For you, this means lower fuel bills, up to 30% lower. It makes dollars and cents to replace your worn-out windows and replace them with New Sash, the original replacement window. For more information, call New Sash Collect, 267-8396. Your New Sash windows also tilt in for easy cleaning and for enjoying the fresh spring and fall air. Ah.
For the Reds in the fourth inning, it'll be Griffey, Morgan, and Foster against Dan Schatzeder. Reds has gotten one hit off Dan, and he struck out three, and walked two. So Schatzeder rolling along pretty good through the early innings. A one-base hit, Dave Concepcion singles to center, and Schatzeder has retired the side in order in the third inning. Ken Griffey to lead it off. Kenny walked in the first inning. Griff with a .295 batting average, 3 home runs, and 38 RBI. All right. Schatzeder ready to work to Griffey, and his first pitch on the way. Ken takes it at the knees and calls strike. Line the 0-1. Fastball swung on and knocked down by Schatzeder and thrown on to Perez. Schatzeder chasing it off to the right of the mound, and that's one away. Here's Joe Morgan. Joe walked in the first inning. Morgan hitting .261. Morgan, 8 home runs, 58 RBI. Schatzeder delivers. Morgan's sexy swing, but he goes too far and makes it a foul tip anyway into the mid of Gary Carter. 0-1. They play Joe way around to the right. Marty pointed out in the first inning, one down the left side, he could run all day. There's the ball outside, 1-1. The line, the pitch. Morgan takes it high, and it's 2 balls to strike. Schatzeder has his sign, the 2-1 delivery. That's ball 3. 3 balls, 1 strike to Morgan with 1 out here in the fourth. Delivery. Swung on and hit into deep center field. Going back is Dawson. He makes the running catch. Right away center field, and Andre Dawson went a long way for that one and hauled it in backhand on the run. So good defensive play by the Expos center fielder. Two away, and George Foster, the batter. Foster ended the first inning by bouncing into a 6-4-3 double play. Schatzeder delivers. Foster takes a breaking ball for a tall strike. A line and the pitch. George looks at it, low and outside, 1-1. This Montreal outfield, one of the better in baseball. Foster takes inside from Schatzeder, and the count goes 2 balls to strike. Valentine, Dawson, and Cromartie. Cromartie has really improved in left field. 2-1 delivery. Ball 3 outside. 3-1 the count. A wind to 3-1. Foster swings and pops it up. Tony Perez at first crosses into foul territory and has it, and that's the inning. Reds out in order. That's 7 straight now. The Schatzeder has retired, and the middle of the 4th. It remains the Reds nothing, the Expos nothing.
The time is right, that feeling's coming through. Real deal lovers know only one deal will do. Stroll for the real deal lover. Stroll, taste like no other. Stroll for the real deal lover. Everyone knows it's the real lover's beer. Family brew for over 200 years. Real deal lovers, baby, go out of their way for a stroll. Like no other, stroll for the real deal lover. From one deal lover to another, stroll. The Stroll Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan.
For Montreal in the 4th inning, it'll be Larry Parrish, Warren Cromartie, and Gary Carter. Parrish in the 1st inning popped out the bench in foul territory to end the inning. Montreal has 2 hits off Norman, and both of them belong to Ellis Valentine. Freddie has walked 2. He walked Perez in the 1st inning and Cash in the 3rd. Waiting on Freddie to complete his warm-ups, and now benches throw down to Morgan at 2nd. Parrish makes his way to the plate. Parrish hitting .271 with 10 home runs and 44 RBI. Cromartie on deck. Norman looking to bench for the sign. And winds and delivers the first pitch to Parrish. Parrish takes it outside the ball. Outfield straight away to Parrish, the pitch. Swung on, ground ball, deep at short. Concepcion, long throw to Driessen, got him, and we'll pause for station identification. This is the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
For Cincinnati Reds baseball in the capital city, listeners tune in FM 100, WRMZ, Columbus, Ohio, for every Cincinnati Reds baseball game.
All right, here's Warren Cromartie. Cromartie in the 2nd inning leading off hit a fly ball to Henderson in center field. Norman winds and delivers. Cromartie swings and bounces it back to Freddie. And on to Driessen, quickly 2 away. 2 down, and Gary Carter the batter. Gary lined hard to Foster along the left field line in the 2nd inning. Waiting on Carter to settle in. He's there. And Norman has the sign from bench. And delivers. Carter takes low and outside a ball. Dave Concepcion's pulled well around to the left in the hole, short and third, and a couple of steps behind the back line. Anything that's normal shortstop would be a base hit. Swing and a line drive in the left field, a base hit. Foster plays it back to the infield, and that is hit number 3 for Montreal. With 2 away, Carter at first base, the batter, Chris Speier. Speier grounded to Rose in the 2nd inning to end the inning. Let's say 255 batting average. 4 home runs, 31 RBIs. Waiting on Speier to settle in. Chris there, and Norman checks with Bench. But he has the sign. The stretch of the pitch. Speier takes low and inside as Bench digs the breaking pitch out of the dirt. 1-0. Norman delivers. Speier takes his strike. 1-1 the count. Bench gives Speier a lot of room in left center field. Here's the pitch. That's down low. 2 balls, 1 strike to Chris Speier. Ken Henderson around to the right center as Foster and Griffey are about straight away in left and right field. Now Norman goes back off the backside of the mound and rubs up the baseball. Now back on. 2 balls, 1 strike to Speier with Gary Carter at first base. Norman to the belt. The 2-1. Speier swings on it and fouls. Straight back. And even 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes to Chris Speier. Norman delivers the 2-2, and that's up high. Full count, so Carter at first will be on the move with the pitch. Norman has walked 2, and he's full right now with Speier with Schatzeder on deck. Ready with the payoff. And Speier swings and fouls it straight back. Down holds 3 balls, 2 strikes to Speier. Again, the 3-2 pitch. Swung on, that's full foul down the left field line, well back into the seats. Now holding at 3 balls, 2 strikes to Speier. He got that pitch up, and careful to Mr. Speier with high pitches. Norman again sets and the 3-2. That's a check swing. He goes too far, and the first strikeout for Freddie Norman is Chris Speier. So in the inning for the Expos, no runs, they hit no errors. A runner left on base, and at the end of 4. Reds nothing, Expos nothing.
Here's some straight talk from Heathkit Electronics at 2500 North Road. Heathkit is the largest manufacturer of electronic kits, not toys, but high-quality units that compare with the finest made. Heathkit features a full line of audio components, the finest television to be found anywhere, full line of amateur radio equipment, test equipment and instrumentation for the service, bench, and lab, PA systems, instrument amplifiers, and speaker systems, and automobile accessories from digital clocks to service test equipment. And for the boating buff, Heathkit carries radio telephones, fish spotters, direction finders, and depth sounders. Heathkit at 2500 Morse Road. Opens Tuesday through Saturday at 9:30. Call 475-7200 and order your free catalog. Tell them WRMZ sent you. That's 475-7200. Heathkit.
Now the totals for 4 innings show the Reds no runs, 1 hit, no errors. The Expos no runs, 3 hits, no errors. It'll be Johnny Bench to lead it off in the 5th for the Reds, and back to bring the action, Marty Brenneman.
Thank you, Joe. Johnny went 3-2 against Schatzeder, leading off the 2nd inning and lined back to the mound. Hit the ball hard, and the young man made a nice play on the ball. We're seeing some fine pitching here this afternoon. Make no mistake about that, as Joe ticked off the telling numbers for you. 1 hit for the Reds, that owned by the man who will follow bench up here in the inning, Dave Concepcion, and Freddie Norman has surrendered 3 to this Montreal team. Throw down to second base and around the Expos infield. Bench mopping himself dry on a humid afternoon up here in Canada. Okay, bench on his way to the plate as the Reds hope to strike gold in the 5th inning after, well, really only threatening one time, and that was the first when Schatzeder walked Griffey and Morgan after retiring Rose, and Foster hit into a double play. Had a hit by Concepcion in the 2nd. Since that time, Schatzeder's retired 7 in a row. Here's a fly ball to left field, racing toward the foul line is Cromartie, and he makes the catch. Caught the ball in fair territory, and his momentum carried him foul ground. 1 away. Davey singled into center field in the 2nd and then promptly got himself picked off. Here's how to order your Reds tickets by mail. Send check or money order payable to Cincinnati Reds, Box 1970, Cincinnati. Box seats are $5, reserve seats $4. Please enclose 50 cents with each order for postage and handling. 1 away in the 5th inning of a scoreless game. That base hit by Davey earlier brought his average up to an even 300. So he's been up, he's been down, and he's back up again. Pitch taken just high for a ball. Breaking pitch inside. You talk about a shortstop swinging a bat. You know what Larry Boa did against us in 2 nights in Philadelphia, 7 hits. He had 4 hits in the first game, went over Houston last night, came back with 2 in the second game. He's had 13 hits in his last 19 times up. 2-0 delivery. Strike called on the outside, and really, when you consider that Kenny Henderson and Ken Griffey turned in 2 fine plays to rob Boa in that series, he could very easily have gone 15 for 19. 3 balls, 1 strike. Davey trying to reach here with 1 out, with Ken Henderson coming up next. Schatzeder delivers, and that is ball 4. Missed with a curve downstairs. So Dan Schatzeder has issued his 3rd walk. And the first base runner since Davey was on through the base hit in the 2nd. Here's Kenny Henderson, who was called out on strikes his first time in there. Boa has raised his batting average 20 points in 4 games from 291 to its current 311. Well, throw to first, Davey back. Jeff Burrows continues to lead the league in hitting at 326. Jackie Clark of the Giants at 320 is second, actually tied with teammate Bill Madlock. Henderson swings, ground ball to the right of Speier, up quickly throwing to Cash, turns it over to Perez, double play. That's the second Montreal has turned in this afternoon. No runs, no hits, and nobody left on, and we're halfway through the Saturday afternoon close encounter with the Expos. The Reds nothing and the Expos nothing.
The big red machine is rolling down the street with big red smokies, the big league treat.
Next time you go to see the Reds at Riverfront Stadium, try a Conn's Big Red Smoky. What's a Big Red Smoky? A different kind of hot dog. Bigger, plumper, juicier, downright delicious. And if you can't go to the home game, bring the game home. Conn's Big Red Smokies are at your favorite store right now. Your family will love them.
Big red smoky.
And don't forget Conn's Wieners and Brats, also served at Riverfront Stadium. Try all 3 at the game, in your kitchen, or on the backyard grill. They make a triple treat that can't be beat. Conn's Wieners and Brats and Big Red Smokies.
Conn's Big Red Smoky.
The Cincinnati Reds do their very best to make it easy for fans to purchase tickets for upcoming games at Riverfront Stadium. For your convenience, there are more than 60 Reds ticket agencies located throughout a 4-state area. And when you order tickets at these branch ticket agencies, the Reds want you to know that your ticket order is still first come, first served. So ordering tickets at any branch agency is the same as while driving to Riverfront Stadium. Check the Reds schedule and pick out the games you want to see, and then stop by the Reds ticket agency nearest you. By the way, for fans in the Cincinnati area, I want to send along a reminder that the Red Stadium ticket office is open today until 5:30, and tomorrow from 9 until 5:30. Pitcher against pitcher. As we go to the home fifth inning, Schatzeder bounced back to the box in the third, his only time up. Norman sends it in, and Dan fouls it back, strike one. Freddie has struck out only one, and that was against Speier for the final out in the last inning. Schatzeder lines it foul down the left field line, 2 strikes. No score in our ball game as Montreal bats in the bottom half of the fifth inning. The 0-2 pitch, and that's just outside a ball, 1-2. Ground ball, Morgan up with it, off to his left, and gets his man at first base. One down. We go back to the top of the Montreal batting order for Dave Cash. 0 for 1 with a walk, had the base on balls in the third. In the first inning, he bounced out to Concepcion. Pete Rose will be coming up for the third time in the game. High ball 2, 2-0. Andre Dawson will be coming up next, following Dave Cash. Norman behind to the second baseman and pitching, and he splits the heart of the plate with that one, 2-1. Freddie sights a sign, the big kick in the pitch, check swing foul back, 2-2. All 3 hits for the Expos have been singles. Valentine in the first. Valentine again, he did it in the third, and the single with 2 down in the fourth inning off the bat of Gary Carter. Norman with an even up count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. The break-even pitch is swung on, and here's the ground ball to Dave Concepcion. The throw in plenty of time, and very quickly 2 men have been retired. Dawson's 0 for 2. Rose threw him out in the first inning. Morgan cut his pop up in the third inning. Well, Freddie hoping to retire the side in order for what would be the second time in the game. He did it back in the second inning, getting Cromartie, Carter, and Speier, and he misses up high with an off-speed pitch to the right-handed batting Dawson. Ball 2. Outfield playing Dawson straight away. He's got good power with 15 home runs. Swung on and hammered into left field. That's going to be a base hit. Up with the ball is George Foster as he throws the ball back to the infield. And Montreal has come up with its 4th hit of the afternoon. A 2-out single to left by Dawson, bringing on Ellis Valentine. Valentine 2 for 2 as Freddie continues to have his own personal problems with this guy. A single to center off Concepcion's glove the first inning, and then lined a soft single to left field in the third. Time call now as Davey Concepcion ties his left shoelace out at shortstop. Here's a look in the pitch. Valentine, a ball outside. Swung on and hit in the air, very high into shallow right. Ken Griffey has plenty of time to get there, and he puts it away. In the inning for the Expos, no runs, a hit, no errors, and one man left on, and we have completed 5, and it's still the Reds nothing and Montreal nothing.
The time is right, that feeling's coming through. Real beer lovers know only one beer will do. Stroh's for the real beer lovers. Stroh's taste like no other. Stroh's for the real beer lovers. Everybody knows it's the beer lovers beer. It's family brew for over 200 years. Real beer lovers say they go out of their way for a Stroh. Stroh's for the real beer lovers. Stroh's taste like no other. Stroh's for the real beer lover. From one beer lover to another Stroh. Stroh, the Stroh Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan.
Joe Nuxhall and Marty Brenneman back at Olympic Stadium as we move to 6th inning action. Danny Driessen will start it off, followed by Freddie Norman and then Pete Rose. And before we get into the 6th inning, we'd like to send along, Joe and I, a very special birthday greeting today to a young lady who has more than a little to do with the success of the Reds broadcast department, Secretary Susan Burns, celebrating a birthday today. So, Susan, if you're listening to our broadcast from Montreal, we haven't forgotten you. Happy birthday. Danny was up in the 3rd. He struck out swinging. That was a string of sorts that Dan Schatzeder was working on. He has struck out 3 in the game, and they came in order. Henderson in the 2nd, Driessen and Norman in the 3rd. Well, the Reds have been pretty much checked by this very talented young left-hander from Elmhurst, Illinois today. Still with only 1 base hit. Here's a pitch, and it is swung out and missed. Breaking ball gets away from Carter as the count evens at 1 ball, 1 strike. Reds will be remaining in the Eastern Division through next week. As we mentioned, New York coming up beginning Monday night, and the Phillies come to Cincinnati next weekend. That one fouled away, and after that, we'll be back into the Western Division for a while. Going to Atlanta, coming back home against San Diego and Atlanta, and then going to San Diego. Swung on, ground ball left side. Speier backhand, falls down, no play, base hit. Chris did a nice job of keeping that ball in the infield. He was shaded towards second for the left-handed batter, had to go off to his right. Backhanded the ball and went down, and never even had a chance at making a throw. So Driessen comes up with Cincinnati's 2nd hit. And now vitally important that Freddie Norman can move Danny into scoring position for Rose and Griffey coming up. Well, these two guys are pitching today. You certainly don't expect to see a whole bunch of runs scored the rest of the afternoon. Norman squares and bunts it foul. Schatzeder back on top of the pitching rubber. Sights a sign from Carter, looks to Driessen, and now will throw to first base, and they almost had Danny leaning. We've already had Concepcion picked off earlier, and they almost nailed Driessen. Another quick throw to first, and he threw it away. Here comes Danny to second. He'll take the turn and will easily be able to go in standing up at third base. Throw coming to the plate as Carter goes up the line to block at third base side, and Now the Reds get a break, and now it's up to them to try and take advantage of it as Dan Schatzeder throws it away at first base, and Driessen moves to third.
Well, Marty, sometimes those things happen. I tell you, it's a good move by Schatzeder. He gets a lot on the ball getting it over there on Davey when he picked him off. He got it over there quickly, but that's the gamble you take when you're throwing like that and off balance and what have you, making a bad throw. So hopefully we can take advantage of it.
Driessen now at third base, nobody out, and that'll force the Montreal infield to come in. First error of the afternoon, and the Reds are hoping to make Schatzeder and company pay for it. The stretch and the pitch. Norman swings away and fouls it straight back. 0-2. Hey, after a rough go of it early this season against left-hand pitching, the Reds have come on strong lately. He's had 42 decisions against left-handers and have won 24 of them and lost 18. Strike call. That'll be a strikeout, the fourth of the afternoon for Dan Schatzeder, and here comes Rose for the third time, still looking to extend that hitting streak to 35 games in a row. Of course, in a situation like this, Rose has a little bit more advantage because of the fact that the infield is in, but they may not pitch to him. Schatzeder and Speier are looking into the dugout, and now Jim Brewer is coming out. And they may take the bat right out of Pete's hands in this situation and set up a double play situation.
Marty, what Brewer might talk to him about, maybe not necessarily intentionally passing Pete with 4 straight out of the strike zone, but really making pitches that Pete cannot handle. Hopefully he'll pop one up or what have you, but again, they might go ahead and walk him. We'll see.
Pete has hit the ball hard twice, as we mentioned earlier, with fly balls to center and a fly ball to right. Carter back behind the plate in the crowd, so they're going to pitch to him with Driessen at third, the infield in, and the pitch is in the dirt for a ball. Talking about the little extra added advantage that Pete might have should he have pitches to hit at, and that's the fact that the infield playing in, if he hits the ball hard on the ground, not directly at somebody, chance of going through. There's a strike at the knees. The Schatzeder keeps it down, 1-1. Reds have the first run of the ball game 90 feet away at third base, and Dan Driessen 1 away in the inning. Schatzeder 2 rows. Inside, ball 2, 2-1. Driessen had an infield hit to begin the inning, went all the way to third on the throwing error by the pitcher. Norman is struck out, and the 2-1 to the plate. That's in the dirt. Ball 3, 3-1. Oh, it looks like they're doing just about what you had expected them to do, Joe. They've really not given Pete anything to hit at. Number 14 climbs back in. Now the stretch, the pause, and the pitch. Swung on and popped out of play. Full count. Coming up next will be Ken Griffey. No score in the 6th inning. Swung on and again fouled off. That's off to the right and back into the seats, and a holding 3-2 count on Rose. Pete leveling the bat as catcher Carter sends out the sign, and Schatzeder sends in the 3-2 pitch again. Swung on and hit it to right center field. Rose with a single. Here comes Driessen to the plate. He's in. Rose has extended his hitting streak to 35 in a row with a base hit to right field on a 3-2 pitch, and the Reds take a 1-0 lead. Well, he keeps it going. The Red Rooters down along the left field line, up standing and applauding Pete Rose, and a whole lot of other folks here in Montreal are doing the same thing. as he drove one into right field for a clean single, and he's now hit in 35 straight. And a big base hit it was, because it gets Driessen in and gives the Reds a 1-0 lead. Here's Ken Griffey.
Marty, what was interesting, they threw Pete all low stuff, and then the next three pitches to Pete all up beneath good hitting area. It was kind of strange.
Griffey bounces one off the pitcher's glove. Schatzeder picks it up, throws, and he got the out. So Griffey hitting it hard. Schatzeder knocked it down to the third base side of the mound and scampered after it to throw him out. Rose moving to second base. Gary Carter out to the mound to talk with his pitcher as Joe Morgan comes up. He walked in the first and hit one a ton in the fourth inning that Andre Dawson made a nice running catch on in center field. Okay, Rose taking his lead at second. Looking, pitching. Morgan taking low. Ball one. Hey, one thing, this guy's been hitting the ball very hard lately, and a lot of occasions he's had nothing to show for it. Ball he hit back in the fourth inning, a good case in point. Swing at a miss. Schatzeder came right to him with a fastball. There's some activity underway, it looks like, in the Montreal bullpen with right-hander Wayne Twitchell throwing. Reds have opened the door here in the sixth inning with a run. Pitch. Ball 2, 2-1. Morgan still looking for home run number 9 on the year that will give him 200 in his career in the big leagues. He's not hit one since the 10th of June. 2 out, Rose at second, and now as the pitcher stretches, Morgan swats it, looks like a butterfly around the plate. Now back in there. 2-1 to count. The pitch. Here it is. Swung on and popped in the air, back of first base in foul ground. Perez settles under it and makes the catch. But in the sixth, the Reds got a run on 2 hits. There was a Montreal error and 1 left. After 5.5, Cincinnati 1 and Montreal nothing.
When your car needs an oil change, chances are what you say is change the oil, which is all you need to say unless you want to make a change for the better. Namely, new Ultra D motor oil from Marathon. Marathon's new Ultra D motor oil is a special blend of natural and synthetic ingredients that's really different from conventional blends. A special blend that means better gas mileage for you, more miles per tank full. New Ultra D motor oil was tested by independent laboratories, including road tests in typical city and highway driving, and the results were the same. Improved gas mileage, more miles per tank full. So go ahead, improve your mileage. Get your car's engine together with Marathon's new Ultra D motor oil.
Make a change for the better with new Ultra D.
A change for the better from the people who do it better. Marathon Oil Company.
Cincinnati Reds 580 gift shop has dozens of unique gift items and souvenirs saluting the Reds. Things like a Reds barbecue apron, a little apothecary jar, a Reds bulletin board, decorative wall plaques, and the new Mr. Red stuffed doll. Stop by the Reds 580 gift shop in downtown Cincinnati or call or write the Reds office for a complete list of all the 580 gift items available by mail. Attendance here at Olympic Stadium this afternoon, 28,920. 28,920. Tony Perez to lead off the bottom half of the sixth inning as Norman now works with a 1-0 lead. Norman walked Tony in the first inning and flied him out to Henderson in center in the third inning. Perez waiting, and here comes Freddie. Swung on and popped up. Center field, backpedaling is Morgan, and shallow right center, and Joe has it for the out. We'll pause for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
Zebra-ites are turned on by Cincinnati Reds Baseball. Exclusively in Mid-Ohio on Zebra 100, WRMZ, Columbus.
One down as Perez pops up to Morgan. Here's Larry Parrish. He grounds one up the middle. Morgan on the third base side of second fields the ball and throws him out. Joe was playing him towards second base and actually went to the third base side of second to make the pickup and throw Parrish out. That'll bring up left fielder Warren Cromartie. This reminder, the Reds' next senior citizens date is coming up Wednesday, August 9th, when we meet the Braves at the special early starting time of 5 o'clock. Persons 65 and over may purchase $4 reserve seats for only $2. Cromartie 0 for 2. Apply to center, a bouncing ball back to the mound. Screwball is low, ball one. Swing and a miss. Expos have had 4 hits with no runs. The Reds have had 3 hits with 1 run. Strike 2, swinging. A ball and 2 strikes to Warren Cromartie. He's starting to work a little bit quicker than he was in the early innings, and this one fouled off the glove of Johnny Bench. Control has been very good. Only 2 walks and not a walk as he issued since the third, but has had only 1 strikeout. Okay, the wind and the pitch. Up high with a fastball, 2-2. Swung on and hit into deep right center field. Going back is Griffey, and we've got a tie ball game. Ray Norman throwing a home run ball to Warren Cromartie on a 2-2 pitch. It climbs out of here over the 375 marker in right center, and a brand new game at 1 apiece. Warren Cromartie hits the game-tying home run, his 6th of the year. And here's Gary Carter. It's the 14th home run that Norman has thrown this season, and the 6th. He's given up in the last 3 games. Tom Seaver leads the Reds pitching staff in a department that no pitcher wants to lead a staff in. Seaver's given up 15. Norman has now allowed 14 home runs. Gary Carter with a single and 2 times up. He swings and hits one down the right field line. That's going to be a foul ball down into the Montreal bullpen. Carter back to the plate with a 1-strike count. A scoring inning for both clubs. Rose with a single, driving in Driessen in the top of the 6th, 1-0 Reds. Cromartie with a home run just a moment ago, 1-1 game. And Morgan, Concepcion, and Rose all on the left side of the infield for Carter. He bounces to that side, and it's Concepcion on to first, and that's all for the Expos. But they get 1 run on 1 hit. And at the end of 6 full, the Reds won, the Expos likewise.
Man, I love to drive on the open road and listen to that old night wind blow. Chewing Red Fox, it sure does ease my mind. Riding this ribbon on through the dark. No place to stop, no place to park. Me and Red Fox chewing tobacco, making up lost time. The Red Fox folks know what they're doing when it comes to making tobacco for chewing. For relaxation, man, it's one of a kind. It's moist and soft and mild for sure. The flavor's fresh. The taste is pure. It settles you down and helps a man unwind. Why don't you try Red Fox? Look for it in the white pouch with the picture of Old Red taking it easy. Red Fox chewing tobacco. Now it's better than ever. So when that highway starts to call, run with the fox that beats them all, Red Fox. 'Cause mister, taking it easy never tasted so good. Red Fox.
Tied up at a run apiece as we move to the final 3 innings of action. George Foster will be in for openers here in the top of the 7th. And back to call the action for you, here's Joe.
All right, Marty, George 0 for 2 this afternoon. He bounced into a double play in the first and popped out to Perez in foul territory in the 4th. The Reds taking a 1-run lead in the top of the 6th, but a 2-out homer by Warren Cromartie ties it up 1-1. Foster, Bench, and Concepcion for the Reds here in the 7th inning. George with 23 home runs, 77 RBIs, 14 doubles, 6 triples. The Reds have had just 3 hits off Schatzeder, and 2 of them coming in the 6th inning when we scored a run. We got a break in the inning when Schatzeder threw wild past first base, trying to pick off Driessen. The pitch to Foster. George swings on it, pops it up right side. Dave Cash in shallow right waiting on it, and he has it 1 away. One down, and that brings Johnny Bench to the plate. John 0 for 2. His line back to Schatzeder, and the fly ball to left in his 2 times up. John hitting .258, 11 home runs, 34 RBIs. Schatzeder delivers low and inside the ball. Doug Harvey inspecting the baseball, and he will give Schatzeder another. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out, and the base is empty. The 1-0. Bench takes outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Dave Concepcion up next. He's not on deck as yet. Here's the 2-0. Bench swings on it and hits it deep to left field, going back, looking up, and that is gone, and we lead it 2-1. Well, Johnny Bench jumping on a high fastball and taking it out of here, his 12th home run of the year, and it's a 2-1 lead for the Reds. Bench jumps on a 2-0 pitch and hits it into the seats in deep left field, and the Reds are back on top. Bench's last home run came on the 7th. Back on the 7th of the month, John hit his last home run off Randy Moffett at home. That's number 299 in John's career. The pitch to Concepcion inside, the count evens 1-1. Swing and a foul, and the count goes 1-2 to David. Dave 1 for 1 this afternoon. He singled in the 2nd inning, walked in the 5th. Schatzeder has the sign and delivers. High and outside, count even 2-2. Two-two delivery, missing just off the plate outside. Full count. Darrell Knowles throwing down in the Expos bullpen. Pitch to Concepcion, high and outside, ball 4, and that's the 2nd time Dave has walked, and the 4th walk in the game issued by Schatzeder and Jim Brewer out of the Montreal dugout headed to the mound. Darrell Knowles and Mike Garman throwing in the Montreal bullpen. One out, a run in, and Concepcion at first base. Ken Henderson the batter. Brewer still at the mound talking with the Montreal battery, Carter and Schatzeder. Now turns and heads back to the dugout. Reds have now hit a total of 77 home runs on the year. Schatzeder ready to work to Henderson. The stretch and the pitch. And Ken swings. Ground ball. Parrish bobbles to the third. Picks it up. Quick throwing. And they get the force of Concepcion at second base. So quick reaction by Larry Parrish. And they're able to get the force at second of Concepcion. 5-4. Two away. Henderson now at first base. And the batter is Dan Driessen. Danny singled in the sixth inning. Good play by Chris Speier going off to his right, made a dive for the ball, stopped it, but no play at first. And then Schatzeder trying to pick Driessen off, threw by Perez and down to the Montreal bullpen. Dan going all the way to third where he scored on Rose's single. A pitch, and Driessen takes on the inside corner, called strike. Stretch. The 0-1. Slider out low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tony Perez playing behind Henderson down at first base. Schatzeder sets and the pitch. Taken again outside. 2 balls to strike. Reds and the Expos wind up regular season's play tomorrow afternoon. Steve Rogers, a right-hander, scheduled for the Expos, and Tom Seaver for the Reds. Here's the 2-1. Driessen swings and hits it into left field. Coming on Cromartie, still coming. He's there and makes the play, and that's the inning. But the Reds get a run on Bench's 12th home run of the year, and in the inning, a run on 1 hit, with no errors, a runner left on base into the middle of the 7th. The Reds 2, the Expos 1.
Right, that feeling's coming through. Real feel of the snow. Only one beer will do. Roll for the real beer lovers. Roll, take back the other soul. For the real beer lovers. Everyone knows it's the beer lovers beer. Family brew for over 200 years. Real beer lovers say they go out of their way for a stroll. Oh, yeah, yeah, stroll. For the real beer lovers, stroll. Take back no other stroll. For the real beer lovers, from one beer lover to another stroll.
The Stroh Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan.
For Montreal in the bottom half of the 7th, it'll be Chris Speier, and looks like a pinch hitter for Schatzeder, and then Dave Cash. Speier 0 for 2. He has grounded to third and struck out in his 2 times up. Dan Pappy will be the batter for Schatzeder as Darrell Knowles continues to throw down in the Montreal bullpen. Well, hopefully we can get through these next 3 innings with no problems, and Freddie Norman can pick up his 9th win of the year. Speier, Pappy, and Cash to come to the plate here in the inning. Norman delivers, screwball, and that's on the outside corner, called strike. Freddie has struck out 1, has walked 2. Montreal with 5 hits. The Reds have had 4. So a real pitcher's battle here between Norman and Schatzeder. The 0-1, high and outside fastball. Count evens a ball of strike to Chris Speier. Reds outfield. Henderson shaded around to the right and center. They give Speier room in left center. Here's the pitch. That's just under the knees, the ball. 2-1 to count. Now Speier looks to Norm Sherry, the third base coach of the Expos. Still looking down that way and still looking. Now Speier back into the batter's box. 2 balls to strike. Freddie delivers, and that's strike 2 call, the fastball. Count even at 2-2. Norman waiting on the sign. Has it, and here's the 2-2. Screwball just inside. Full count now to Chris Speier, and boy, you don't want to get that first man on base if you can help it. The payoff, fastball, strike 3 call. Got it on the outside corner, and Chris Speier on his way to first, and looking back at Doug Harvey, and not happy with the call, but a big strikeout for Freddie. His second of the game, the second time he has struck out Chris Speier. Right-handed batter. He's had 7 hits this year, and 22 times up, has driven in 6 runs, and now Bench and Norman want to go over Poppy, make sure they understand what they want to do. He's had 3 hits as a pinch hitter this year, and 16 times up. That's good for a 188 batting average. Meeting breaks up, and Bench back behind the plate. Dan Schatzeder pitched very well here this afternoon. Norman delivers to Pappy, and Pappy takes a strike. On 1 to count to Pappy. Pinch hitting for Schatzeder. The pitch swung on and fouled, and quickly Freddie in front 0-2. Norman shaking off a sign from Bench. Shakes another off. Now okays, and the 0-2 pitch. Fastball is high and outside. A ball, 2 strikes. Norman into the wind, and the 1-2. That's swung on and fouled off down the right side and back into the seats. On hold to the ball, 2 strikes to Pappy hitting for Schatzeder. Dave Cash on deck. 1 out. Ready again, the 1-2 pitch. High and outside, and it evens at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Doug Bear hits the Reds bullpen to start throwing. Here's the 2-2. Screwball swung on and missed. Got him. Third strikeout for Norman. 2 of them coming here in the inning, and Dave Cash will be the batter. Cash 0 for 2. Grounded to short in the first, walked in the third, and grounded again to short in the 5th. Norman delivers, and Cash takes a strike. Fastball. 1 the count. 2 out, base is empty. Freddie delivers a screwball, grounded up the middle in the center field, a base hit. Hit number 6 for Montreal, and with 2 away, Cash at first base. Andre Dawson, the batter. Dawson 1 for 3. Dawson singled his last time up into left field. Back in the first inning, ground to the third. In the third inning, popped to Morgan. Bench again to the mound to talk with Freddie Norman. Ellis Valentine on deck. And Larry Shepard out of the Reds dugout, walking slowly toward the mound. And we'll have a word with Freddie Norman and Johnny Bench. Doug Bear throwing in the Cincinnati bullpen. Larry just now arriving at the mound. Inning started off with Speier being called out on a 3-2 pitch, and then Stan Pappy hitting for Schatzeder, striking out on a screwball. And Cash singling up the middle off the screwball. Step back to the Cincinnati dugout and ready to go to work on Andre Dawson. Dawson with 15 home runs, 47 RBIs, and a .255 batting average. Outfield straight away and deep. Armin ready, and the first pitch to Dawson is swung on and missed. A slider in on him. Armin has the sign. And the 0-1. Screwball swung on and missed. And quickly Freddie in front, 0-2 to Andre Dawson. Here's the 0-2. Scroogie inside corner, called strike 3. And Dawson started, stopped, and Doug Harvey wasted no time in punching him out. So Freddie Norman strikes out the side around the single by Dave Cash. And for Montreal, no runs hit, no errors, no one runner left on base. And at the end of 7, the Reds 2, the Expos 1.
Here's a special message directed to heads of families. There's no getting around it. Tomorrow is showing up all too soon. Are you now equipped to handle tomorrow's problems? When you have a family, you just can't do it alone. That's why you need a Grange partner. Grange offers you this partnership to cushion the bumps, avoid the pitfalls, and provide those retirement dreams. Your Grange agent can counsel you on individual retirement accounts, key man insurance, buy-sell agreements, rollover annuities, and other tomorrow-oriented tax-saving investments. The Grange Lifeline also includes Econoterm insurance and Extraordinary Life, which provide maximum protection and high cash values. You can also sleep nights knowing you've protected the precious things you own and those you love. Start this partnership now while there's still time. Make friends with tomorrow through your Grange agent today.
And 1 error. We're going to have a pinch hitter for Freddie Norman as the Reds bat in the 8th inning. I'll tell you about him and bring you to play-by-play. Here's Marty.
Dave Collins will lead off the 8th inning in batting for Freddie Norman. Doug Bear, still throwing along the left field foul line, will be facing the Expos in the bottom of the 8th. .206 batting average, Collins. No homers and 7 RBIs. As a pinch hitter, he's gone 8 for 42. And the new pitcher on the mound for Montreal is left-hander Darrell Knowles. Knowles with a record of 2 wins and 2 losses and a fine .242 earned run average. He delivers to Collins low and away a ball. 35th time this season that Knowles has come out of the bullpen, far and away the club leader in appearances. There's a call strike. Now This one being played very close to the vest. Only 10 hits total in the game, 4 for Cincinnati, but a lead. Ground ball, base hit into left field for little Dave Collins. Now Dave opens up the 8th inning with a base hit to left off Darrell Knowles, and that'll bring on Pete Rose. Here's a pitching line on Dan Schatzeder. He went 7, giving up 4 hits and 2 runs, 1 earned. Striking out 4 and walking 4 for Freddie Norman. He goes 7. The Expos get 6 base hits and a run earned off Norman. He struck out 4 batters and walked only 2. Rose with a base hit in the 6th inning to knock in the first Cincinnati run. He squares to bunt, takes it low for a ball. Got right-hander Mike Garman back loosening for Montreal following the Collins pinch single. Rose takes a strike as the count evens at 1. Knowles taking his time, now ready with the next pitch. And 2 rows. Pete bunts, third base side. Knowles up with the ball. He'll throw to first baseman Perez. That'll be a sacrifice for Pete. 1-3 as Collins moves into scoring position. Well, with an insurance run out at second, it'll be Ken Griffey up as we pause for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
Cincinnati Reds baseball is yours on Zebra 100, WRMC, Columbus, Ohio, the home of the Reds for Central Ohio.
Ken Griffey, too. He, against Schatzeder, had a walk and a couple of grounders to the mound. One hard hit that Schatzeder knocked down to record the putout in the 6th inning. Here's the pitch, and the curveball is just low and off the plate. And he started around, but was able to check his swing in time. Like to be able to get Collins in from second. The Reds lead 2-1. That's on the outside edge for a strike. Each team scored in the 6th inning. Danny Driessen led off with an infield hit. It moved all the way to third when Schatzeder threw the ball away on a pickoff throw at first. 1 out later, Rose drove a 3-2 pitch into right field for a run-producing base hit that kept his hitting streak alive and at 35 games. Swung on ground ball to Tony Perez. He makes the pickup, goes to the bag to get the Griffey as Collins moves on to third. Here's Joe Morgan. Then in the bottom of the 6th inning, a 2-out home run to right center by Warren Cromartie tied it up. And then in the 7th inning, Johnny Bench untied it with a solo home run into the seats in left field. Morgan has walked, fly to deep center, and popped up in foul ground to Tony Perez. Joe with a couple of hits and 2 RBIs last night, batting .259. Left-hander against left-hand batter. And the pitch. Ball 1. Morgan checks his swing. Here's a throw to third, and they almost pick Collins off. Quick snap throw from Carter to Parrish. Dave just able to get back in. 2 balls and no strikes on Morgan. Wait a minute now. Seems to be a bit of a disagreement. That has been called a strike. And Joe, a little bit irate, the third base umpire made the call, Jerry Crawford, and Joe is a tad bent out of shape over that call that goes against him. So make it a 1-1 count. Knowles delivers. Morgan swings and fouls it into the Cincinnati dugout. One ball, 2 strikes. Collins at third, 2 men out. Darrell Knowles in relief of Dan Schatzeder as the Reds lead the Expos 2-1. Pitch. Check swing and foul ball. Once again to the Cincinnati dugout, picked up by Dave Concepcion. All quiet now in the Cincinnati bullpen, but not so for Montreal. Garman, the right-hander, continues to stay ready. Wouldn't be surprising should Morgan reach here to see Dick Williams go down and bring Garman on to face George Foster. Here's a pitch. That is chopped back toward the mound. Up with it is Carter, and he throws on to Perez. Knowles came off the mound. Carter went out to get it. And Knowles very wisely gave way to his catcher, who made the throw to get the out that ends the inning. No runs for Cincinnati. 1 base hit, 1 left. And after 7.5, the Reds lead the Expos 2-1.
Cool it when the sun's up high. Cool it when the sun's down low.
Ah, everyone loves that warm, wonderful summer sun. Kind of makes you think of baseball, swimming, tennis, and air conditioning. That's right. 'Tis the season to be cool. And Crawford Nichols Heating and Cooling wants to cool it for you this summer with Lennox Air Conditioning. Dad knows that air conditioning adds to the value of your home. But more important, it allows the entire family to cool off during these hot, sticky summer months. The Cool-It experts at Crawford Nichols work hard to keep you comfortable by offering Central Ohioans 24-hour service 365 days a year. So enjoy the sun and fun that goes with summer, but be cool. For a free home cooling estimate, call Crawford Nichols Heating and Cooling today and say cool it.
Now you can cool it with Crawford Nichols, that's the way.
876-1234.
We're in the bottom of the 8th inning, and a couple of changes for Cincinnati. Of course, a new pitcher on the mound. He'll be batting ninth, right-hander Doug Baer, and at third base is Ray Knight. This for Doug will be his 40th appearance of the year. He's got a 4-3 record with an earned run average that lately has been rapidly declining and stands at 159 or 158. He, of course, has chalked up 16 saves and can make it 17 if he can preserve the lead and present the win to Freddie Norman. Ellis Valentine, Tony Perez, and Larry Parrish. 3 guys who have power here in the bottom of the inning. Valentine has singled twice, and in the 5th inning, flied out to right field. Bear is not allowed a run in his last 6 relief outings, giving up just 3 base hits. Here's his pitch to Valentine, and it is swung on and hit into center field. Kenny Henderson is there. 1 out. Valentine retired, fly ball to center on 1 pitch. Tony Perez standing in. He walked in the 1st, flied out in the 3rd, and popped up in the 6th. He grounds 1 to the right side. Morgan cannot get it. Goes on into right field, a base hit. That's the 7th hit for Montreal. The Expos now have the tying run on base, and the batter is Larry Parrish. He's 0 for 3. And a runner at first base for Tony Perez. It's going to be Pepe Frias. Doug Baer, making his 4th appearance of the year against Montreal, has no record in 6 2/3 innings. Prior to this appearance, he's given them no runs on 5 base hits and has chalked up a couple of saves, both for Manny Sarmiento back on the 7th of May in the 2nd game of a twin bill, won by Cincinnati 4-2. And then at Riverfront Stadium last Monday night, pitched an inning in 1/3, giving up a base hit to save that one for Sarmiento as the Reds won the game 8-6. Parrish at the plate, Frias running for Perez at first, 1 away. Pitch to Parrish, taken low, a ball. Reds 2, Montreal 1. There with a pause at the belt, he sends it in, and Parrish takes ball 2. Swung on and hit into shallow left. Going back, Concepcion. Davey gives way to Foster and drops. Now, many times have we seen that happen this season. A ball that should have been caught instead drops between Foster and Concepcion for a base hit, sending Frias on to second. I'll tell you, you would think after 95 ball games that would be something that you would not see. So Montreal posing a 1-out, 2-on threat. Here's a man who has driven in the only Montreal one with a home run in the 6th inning, Warren Cromartie. They're checking the runners over. Delivers to the plate. Cromartie takes it outside. Perez single to right. Parrish has dumped one into left field. Cromartie looks at a strike, and it's a 1-1 count. Valentine flied to center to begin the inning, but then have come to back-to-back base hits. That did not turn to double play this afternoon, and boy, what a time for one right now. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cromartie waiting for the next pitch to be served up by Doug Bear. And it's up high, a breaking ball, 2-2. One-run game late in the 8th inning. Doug Bear trying to pitch himself out of a 2-on jam. He's 2-2ing to the plate. Cromartie strikes out swinging. 2 down. Here's Gary Carter. Before today, Bear had worked in an even 57 innings. And it chalked up 49 strikeouts, and that's an outstanding ratio. Well, he has his 50th strikeout of the year, and now faces Carter, who has flied out, bounced out, and sandwiched in between a 4th inning single to left. Frias with good speed carries a tying run at second. 2 away in the inning. Carter, a ball is high and tight. Stretch and a pitch. Swing and a miss. Good fastball. Montreal has played 32 one-run games. They have lost 22 of them. The Reds have played 33 one-run games and have won 22 of them. 22-11 for Cincinnati, 10-22 for Montreal. 2 men on, 2 men out from Bear to Carter. The 1-1 pitch. That misses. Throw down to second. Bench throws it into center field. Both runners moving up as Johnny Bench sends one into center. That's a throwing error. So by all rights, we ought to be out of this inning and batting in the top of the 9th. But instead, it's a 2-ball, 1-strike count on Carter, and now through the throwing error by Bench, runners are at second and third. They're backing off the pitching rubber as Ray Knight looks into the Cincinnati dugout along with Dave Concepcion, and whatever instructions they were looking for, they received. Doug pitches, and Carter takes a strike. 2-2. Gary Carter thought that pitch was low. Now Foster and Henderson talking with each other. Carter away from the plate, two strikes with Prius at third, and out at second base, Larry Parrish. Prius bluffing down the line, trying to distract Doug Baer, who looks him in the eye and delivers to Gary Carter. He struck him out swinging. Nifty bit of pitching by Doug Baer under pressure. And in the inning for Montreal, no runs, 2 hits, 1 error, and runners left at second and third. At the end of 8, the Reds 2, and the Expos 1.
The time is right, that feeling's coming through. Real beer lovers know only one beer will do. Stroll for the real beer lover, stroll, taste like no other. Stroll for the real beer lover. Everyone knows it's the beer lover's beer. Family brew for over 200 years. Real beer lovers, baby, go out of their way for a stroll. Hey, stroll for the real beer lovers, stroll. It's like no other. Stroll for the real beer lover. From one beer lover to another, stroll. The Stroll Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan.
We're in the 9th inning. Foster, Bench, and Concepcion will be the trio of batters to ply their talents against left-hander Darrell Knowles, as Wayne Twitchell and Mike Garman head back towards the Montreal bullpen to once again begin throwing. Foster has hit Lewson 3 times up. He's hit into a double play, popped up foul ground to first, and popped up to second. Got Del Unser now at first base. Now, Jimmy Rice has hit his 24th homer of the year this afternoon in Kansas City, so he's broken out of a 3-way tie for the Major League lead in home runs. Foster and Luzinski remain tied in the National League, 1 less. Here's Knowles with a pitch and Foster with a take low. Montreal's 9th inning will be made up of Speier, a pinch hitter for Knowles, and Dave Cash. Swung on and wrapped foul off third. Strike 2 call on the outside part of the plate. Now we've got Cesar Geronimo unlimbering his arm. We possibly will see the Chief in center field in the last of the night. Swing and a miss. Knowles struck him out. Good strikeout recorded by Montreal pitching. Here's a guy who hammered career home run number 299 in the 7th inning to give the Reds this 1-run lead. Johnny Bench. It was his 12th of the year. Swung on and hit on a line to Larry Parrish at third base. He just picked it off the top of the carpet for out number 2. 2 down with Davey Concepcion in. Davey's been on base 3 straight times with a single and 2 walks. Well, his batting average staying right at that 300 mark after the single in the second to center. Darrell Knowles doing his usual good job. Certainly pitched well against us this season, I'll tell you. There's a foul off the right field line. Strike 1. Davey bluffs the bunt, takes a strike at the knees. And a
one thing about the value of Darrell Knowles. He is a definite low ball pitcher, and he's been around long enough to have perfected his skills. Very rarely will he make a mistake up. Of course, not a power pitcher, so he's got to keep the ball down, and that he consistently does with good results. Swung on and hit off the handle to the second baseman. Cash to Unser, and the ninth inning for Cincinnati is history. 3 up, 3 down. After 8 1/2, the Reds 2, the Expos 1.
The time is right, that feeling's coming through. Real deal lovers know only one deal will do. Stroll for the real deal lover. Stroll, say it like no other. Stroll for the real deal lover. Everyone knows it's the real lover's beer. Family brew for over 200 years. Real deal lovers, baby, go out of their way for stroll. There's a big M sign round corner, down the road and up the street. And there's a friend of mine round that corner, someone you all know and someone you'd be glad to meet.
You know, there's a special additive at your nearby marathon station. Something that can add value to your life and the life of your car. It's something you can get only at your marathon station. What it is your marathon man. Because your marathon man is somebody who believes it's not old-fashioned to give people what they pay for, plus a little bit more. He's there to do it better, and do it the way he'd want it done if he were you. If you don't already know him, well, you really ought to.
Go get together with a friend who'll do it better. Go see your marathon man.
Marathon Oil Company. We got together to do it better.
Bottom of the ninth inning about to get underway, and Tommy Hutton is going to pinch hit for shortstop Chris Speier. Doug Bear delivers, and the pitch is up high for a ball. Well, it looked like Cesar Geronimo's side wasn't well enough to get him in the lineup. Kenny Henderson still out in center. Hutton went to the plate twice without a hit last night, his first appearance in a Montreal uniform, and now he's ahead 2 balls and no strikes. Ed Herman on deck to bat for Darrell Knowles, so Doug Bear will be working to a couple of left-handed batters in Hutton now and Herman later. 2-0 pitch. That's ball 3. Well, Tommy Hutton has not yet had a pitch he could hit at because Bear has been up with all 3 of his fastballs. He needs a strike, and he cannot get it. Walked him on 4 straight. Well, it looks like now they have taken Ed Herman down, and Darrell Knowles will come on to bat for himself. We pointed out so many times in the past in a 1-run game, getting that first batter out is all important. Something that Bear was not able to do as he walks Hutton on 4 high hard ones. Ray Knight is in at third, looking for Knowles to bunt the runner Hutton along at first base. Bear stretches and pitches, and here's a bunt, and it'll be played by Ray Knight. He looks to second, thinks better of it, and throws on to Joe Morgan. And Ray quickly rights himself and runs on back to third because it was left unoccupied. Sacrifice bunt for Darrell Knowles. 5-4, and the tying run now, and Hutton is out at second base for Dave Dash. Dash had a hit his last time in there in the 7th inning, a ground ball single to center. One for 3 with a walk. Doug Bear, who pitched so brilliantly in the last inning with 2 runners on, he then struck out Cromartie after the throwing error by Johnny Bench at second allowed both runners to advance. He struck out Gary Carter. Cash, a tough customer to strike out. Pitch swung on and grounded off the end of the bat to the Montreal dugout. Doug trying to protect a 2-1 lead for Fred Norman in the 9th inning. Cash struck out 18 times this season and 392 times up. See what we mean? There's strike 2 call. Another tough customer, and Andre Dawson on deck. Hutton out at second, 1 away. Tommy got a walk. Knowles bunted him along. And Cash behind 0-2. There with a stretch. The look back at second base and the pitch. And a foul back to the screen. Both bullpens in the 9th inning are quiet. Pitcher and batter ready, and way high as Davey ducks underneath the pitch. 1-2. We stand now, the decision in this game would go to the starting pitchers, who win to Fred Norman, the loss to Dan Schatzeder, and both starters pitched extremely well. 1-2 on Cash. Bear works, and a bouncer hit foul at third base. Tomorrow afternoon, 2:15 game time, as Tom Seaver and Steve Rogers, 2 quality right-handers, hook up. And we'll be in New York Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday afternoon to close out the 8-game road trip. Cash climbs back in as Bear toes the rubber. Hutton with a good lead at second. The pitch. Way high, fastball. Johnny Bench had to reach up and off to his left, 2-2. Now Cash calls time as he steps away. Stretching Bear. Pitch. Just outside. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Andre Dawson watching the action from the on-deck circle. Bear has run the string out on Dave Cash, and the 3-2 pitch is on the way. Swung on, ground ball second. Morgan on to Driessen, 2 down as Hutton moves to third. There's a big out right there, and Dave Cash. Andre Dawson, not the contact hitter that Dave Cash is. He has struck out 76 times and 352 times up this season, but in his favor, as we mentioned earlier this afternoon, 15 home runs. Well, he has the power to end the game with 1 swing of the bat. Hutton down at third base with now 2 out. Dawson has singled and is 1 for 4 in the game. That's upstairs, ball 1. Andre Dawson trying to get Tommy Hutton in with the tying run with 2 away in the 9th. Swung on and fouled away. It's a ball and a strike. Number 40 back behind the mound, gathering his thoughts as he tugs at the bill of his cap. Now climbs back atop the summit to resume his work against Dawson. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's a pitch. It's high, ball 2, 2-1. Reds with a 2-1 lead. 1 in the 6th inning when Rose singled in Driessen. And a home run by Johnny Bench in the 7th to break a 1-1 tie. Now the Expos have Hutton at third, 2 out, and a pitch coming to Dawson. That's in the dirt. Bench makes the pickup on the bounce, ball 3. after Dawson, you got another tough hitter, Ellis Valentine. Pretty good position for a batter to be in right here under these circumstances, because Dawson knows Bear has to come to him with a strike pitch. And that was way high and out of the strike zone. Ball 4. So the ninth inning continues for Montreal. First and third as we pause for station identification now on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network. Pitching coach Larry Shepard has reached the mound to talk with Doug Bear as the rest of the Reds infielders crowd around. Sam Mejias is playing catch down beyond the Montreal dugout. In the event this game should go to extra innings, we might see him go in as a defensive maneuver made by Dick Williams. Doug Bear is throwing hard here in the ninth inning, but not throwing real well. He has walked 2 batters, Hutton to begin the inning, and now with 2 down, he has issued a walk to Andre Dawson. Valentine has singled twice. His first 2 times up. Since then, has fly to right and fly to center. Joe Morgan and Dave Concepcion meeting briefly behind second base. Valentine with Hutton at third, Dawson at first. 2 men out. The pitch on the way to the plate and swung on and missed. He challenged him with a high fastball. Strike 1. Montreal President John McHale and General Manager Charlie Fox down to our left, a couple of booths, watching this ninth inning that has more than a little bit of tension packed into it. Valentine behind a strike, swings and misses again, strike 2. And right now, Doug Bear playing good old-fashioned hardball with Ellis Valentine. No balls and 2 strikes. Tying run at third, winning run at first. Hutton, an average runner. Dawson with good speed. No balls and 2 strikes on right-handed batting Valentine. The pitch. That one popped up, right side. Joe Morgan calling, and this one belongs to the Reds. In the ninth inning, Montreal threatens, but that is all. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 left. Final score is the Reds make it 2 out of 2 here in Montreal, Canada. Cincinnati 2 and the Expos 1.